creating a healing environment is actually not as hard as you might think. Today's episode, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, how I did it, to heal my back in a very, very short period of time. Let's go get that nugget. Welcome to Life Mastery for Women. I'm your host, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Join me here 3 times a week for empowering conversations, powerful tools, and techniques to help you experience more joy, healing, and deeper connections in your life. Get ready, ladies. It's time to get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Life is hard, but your personal growth doesn't have to be. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you healing your physical body. If you're not healing your physical body with ease, it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So you've heard me talk about a couple of different times, if you've listened to my episodes, about sometimes I want to say like experiencing severe back pain, but I want to move it to that's the past. So before I went to Miami, let me back up just a teeny tiny little bit. Back in 2012 or 13, I think it was 2013, Amy and I and the boys went to Great Wolf Lodge. And if you're not familiar, Great Wolf Lodge is basically an indoor water park / hotel. And I was running around climbing this, they have this giant apparatus, it's kind of a play structure. It's all these little tunnels and ropes and bridges and stuff like that. And we're running around and getting ready to go down these water slides that are at the top of the structure. And I kind of bent down sideways to duck under one of the structures to get to the slide. And as soon as I did it, I heard this voice, plain as day, say, "You better not do that again." And I'm like, okay. And it was literally as if somebody was standing next to me and said, I wouldn't do that again. Okay. So I went down the slide. I didn't really think anything of it, but it was very, very apparent. Now that, my friends, is my intuition. That is how intuition really shows itself. So lo and behold, I was having so much fun. I literally went up and I did it again. And as soon as I did it, I could feel a muscle in my back on the right side, my low back, tighten up. And you will hear me say the word like seize up, locked up, spasm. Okay. So I go down the slide. I can hardly stand up and I'm like holding my back and calling Amy over, and we end up going in the hot tub. Nothing's helping. Literally my whole entire Great Wolf Lodge experience came to a halt in the first 15 minutes we were there. Now that was 2013. So I was a personal trainer. I'm very aware of, different parts, of how my body operates and injuries versus, what's a real injury versus some pain or delayed onset muscle soreness, like when you work out. And I'm very familiar with different types of pain in the body as it relates to injuries and working out. And this is obviously an injury. So lo and behold, nothing really happens for the next couple of years. I don't think it ever happened again. That stint right there from that Great Wolf Lodge experience lasted for 2 weeks. I was flat on my back. I couldn't move because I couldn't engage my core. Every time I did, that back muscle would seize up. Now, what that muscle is doing, not to really get into the anatomy of everything, but what that muscle is doing, it is preventing movement. And so it locks up hard like a 2x4 and it creates a lot of pain. So I'm like, okay, dude, what am I going to do? So we tried like heat and cold. We called the doctor. We did, a little bit of pain meds and, a little bit of ibuprofen, whatever. Nothing was relieving it. I couldn't move. I couldn't roll over. I couldn't get up. It was very, very, very painful. It was the worst pain I've ever experienced for that period of time. That was 2013. Then fast forward, I kind of come to a couple little bouts of it here and there. It's just this weird thing. And sometimes there's a warning, sometimes there's not. And that was the longest stint of being flat on my back. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that again. So now fast forward to just this little bit, just before, I would say probably 2 months ago, before we're going to Miami, for a business retreat, I am like, okay, dude, I'm not dealing with back pain anymore. Like, I'm a very active person and I want to get back to my ideal weight. I want to get back to my ideal body. I want to start doing the things that I know I'm supposed to do to take care of my body. I just last year, September, I turned 50, which changes your perspective on things, by the way. There's something about turning 50 that really shifts your perspective to what's really important in your life. And my health really rose to the top. Like my whole entire life, I've been thin, fit, flexible, strong, athletic, thin, on an ideal weight my whole life. And then all of a sudden I have this surgery in 2017 in January. I grew a tumor in my abdominal area and it was pushing on my bladder. And so we have to go have this tumor removed. In the meantime, every girl part comes out. So my ovaries and my uterus, everything comes out. And then within that year, I gained 20 pounds. I'm like, okay, what the flying crap is this, right? So how am I supposed to deal with this now? Like I've never been overweight a day in my life. So anyway, so I'm dealing with some stuff. I'm dealing with some hormone issues. I'm dealing with some of the stuff, right? So I'm still kind of coming out of it. Well, in the meantime, I am heightening myself in my own business. So I'm intuitive, I'm a healer, I'm an energy coach, I'm like working the magic, right? And things are getting better. Now I went through a little bit of a rough patch, but that's not the story I'm telling today. So I start working out, I start walking, I start strengthening, I start, getting back to it. And slow as I'm moving through this process, I had a couple of physical therapists that I had gone and seen, and every one of them had a different perspective of what my back pain could be the cause of. Oh, you've got a herniated disc. And I'm like, no, I don't, because I'm intuitive. So you can give me an answer. You can give me what you think it is, and I can immediately tell you if that's a right answer or not. And I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. I'm trying to explain intuition to a physical therapist who doesn't know what intuition is and not really. And I'm like, he goes, I want to order an MRI. And I'm like, okay. So we go and have the MRI, and so the MRI results come back, and I go and meet with him, and he's looking and he's kind of shaking his head. And I said, it's not a disc, is it? And he's like, no, it totally isn't. I'm like, I told you. And I said, it feels like a tight muscle. And so we start talking about all these things in my body, my anatomy and my posture and the weight shifting, like I'm kind of, getting that hysterectomy belly, and I'm like, dude, I think it's this imbalance. I think I really need to start working on core strength. So we start kind of going through this and what muscles are turning off, and all of this stuff doesn't matter. But I start working out and I start stretching and I start really focusing on my core stability, strength, and flexibility. And then all of a sudden, I shouldn't say all of a sudden. No, I would say all of a sudden, I'm in the backyard with the dogs. And I realize in that moment that I just sprinted across the backyard. I'm like, I haven't run in like 6 years because of my back, because I was totally paralyzed by fear that my back would seize up, because it had done it in so many different ways that I was paralyzed by this fear. And like I said, I'm a very active person. So in my mind, but because my back pain in the past has happened so many times, it was debilitating and it was frustrating. And I'm like, I am getting to the bottom of this, and I'm going to heal myself once and for all. So when I sprint across the yard, I stop and I turn around and I'm looking about how far I just ran, how fast I just ran. And I'm like, and I've been working out 4 or 5 times a day, or I'm sorry, 4 or 5 times a week, pretty religiously for like 2 months. And I realized in that moment, the fear is gone. And this sense of freedom rang over me. Like, I call Amy. I'm at like the walkout basement part in the backyard. And that's why I have a deck that's at the first level. And I call her out on the deck, and I'm barefoot. Like in the summer, I pretty much never have shoes on. And I call her out on the deck and I said, watch. And I sprint across the yard and I sprint back. And I said, look. And I sprint across the yard and I sprint back. And she's like, oh my God. Like I said, and don't I look fast? It sounds a little bit ridiculous, but I felt like a prisoner in my own body, paralyzed by fear that I would never get my body back, that I would never get to this place of feeling like feeling like I could run, feeling like I could go and play. And I was free. I was free from that pain. The things that I was doing, the meditations, the healing, the releasing of that emotional trauma, the stretching, the strengthening, every time I did it, I was getting better and stronger and adding more flexibility to my body, that it created this sense of freedom. Then we go to Miami, and we're only there we're there for 5 days, from Wednesday to Sunday. We go to Miami, and I get back and I just get back to business. And I stop working out because it's like I just forgot. I'm working on the business. We went to a business retreat. We were fire hosed with information. I come home and I get to work. I start creating. I start getting into it. I start digesting the information we just got fire hosed with for the last 3 days. And I just kind of forgot. And then Wednesday morning, I don't remember when we went to Miami, but it's been a while. And I get back. Let's see, we went to Miami. It was May. So we got home on the 14th of May. So it's 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I didn't have this ready. And today's the 10th. So it's been like 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been 4 weeks since we had gotten back from Miami. And I pretty much stopped working out. I think I did 1 or 2 times. And that's not counting walking the dogs or anything. I mean, that's like get on the treadmill, walk on the treadmill, ride the bike, do some workouts, do some stretch, do some arms, do some core. I mean, it's an hour and a half in the gym, right? And I didn't do that when I got back. So I go in the backyard. It's Wednesday morning. I had just eaten breakfast. I go in the backyard with the dogs, and we have an Adirondack chair in the backyard. And I go and sit, and I'm kind of planning my day. This is part of my morning routine. And I go to sit back in that Adirondack chair, and my back seizes up. And I'm like, no, and you don't just like, it's not just a little like, oh, don't bend it that far and you straighten up and it's gone. You straighten up and it's gone, but you better get to a position because you can't do much from that. So I get, haul my butt as fast and as easy as I can out of that chair and limp my way through the basement, up the stairs and into the bed. Because I'm like, I have to get flat. I have to lay down. Grab my phone and I text Amy, call me when you can, my back. And she's like, oh no, because it's a big deal, right? So as I'm laying there, she's trying to decide if she's going to come home. It's like 10:30 in the morning on Wednesday. And I'm like, okay. And of course, as soon as you lay down, you're like, oh man, now I have to go to the bathroom. Oh geez, now I'm thirsty. Oh gosh, I forgot to close the door. Oh geez, you forget all these things. So I'm laying there, I'm looking at the white ceiling. I'm like, okay. And immediately I thought, it's time to get to work. Because this is not going to last for 2 weeks. So I've been reading a ton, which I always do. This is no news. Shouldn't be any news to you either. I read a ton about energy and meditation and mind mastery and emotional management because I want to level up my life. Even as a person who is a lady leader, helping other lady leaders level up their lives, I'm still leveling up mine. Because every time you level up, there's a whole new shift and a whole new perspective. And you just keep going and going and going. The view is great from here. Wait to see the view from here. You get up there, wait to see the view from up there, right? You just keep going. That's life. So I go, okay, it's time to get to work. And I start raising my vibration. So as I'm sitting there, in the past, go through this like, oh crap, now what? And you go through the schedule and like, okay, it's Wednesday. I don't have the sole responsibility for any of the kids, so I don't have to drive. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. Nothing's happening. I don't have to cancel plans. You go through that whole thing. And then I start getting mad because I shouldn't have done it. And I stopped working out and, oh man, I set myself back. How long is this going to stay? And then it gets into this kind of pity party, like, woe is me and I'm never getting out of this. I'm going to have back pain forever. And I'm like, you know what? No, I didn't do any of that. I literally sat there, and here's step 1 I want to share with you. The first thing I did is started focusing on raising my vibration. And a technique that is the easiest technique of all time. Because if you have a problem you need a solution to, if you have pain you need to release, you're not going to do it from the place that you're at, where you created it. If you're a 4, you're creating pain in your life at a level 4. And you can't go ask your friends because they're all level 4s too. It is up to you to raise your vibration to a 5 and then assess, can I solve it from here? And if you can't, your job is to raise your vibration to a 6. And you keep going, and eventually, within seconds, the solution shows up. So I lay in bed, and I lay there, and I just breathe deep, and I go right into that pain. And it's throbbing. And it's kind of like at my sacrum. And I'm just feeling into this heat in my back. And I'm sending it love, as if it was a child that was hurt. And I'm sending it love, and I'm saying things like, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to get through this. And then I went from that, just that connection, And it's through that connection that then I start saying, this is step one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Over and over again, and feeling it. When I'm saying thank you, remember those words have vibrational frequency. And in saying those words in my mind, I have my hands on my heart and I'm looking into my body. I'm bringing all my awareness and all my energy back into my body, and I'm repeating over and over and over again the words, thank you. Because what am I doing right here? What I'm doing is I am creating a healing atmosphere. If I hurt my back at a level 2, if I'm a vibrational level 2 in survival mode, and I hurt my back from this place, I can't heal from here. When you get a cut on your finger, you can't just look at it. You have to do something. So you create space for healing to take place. You clean it. You put a little peroxide on it, little ointment, and a Band-Aid. Those things are acts of love. You raising your vibration. Now the cut can heal naturally. So that's the first thing I did. Raise my vibration. Okay? The next thing, if anything emotional was in there, I focus on releasing it. If anything is stuck in getting my attention. The message that I got was self-care. Self-care. For a month, I stopped doing that. And now I have 2 dogs staring at me going, hey, what are we doing? We're not taking a nap now. Remember, we go for a walk pretty soon here. We were playing outside. What's going on? So in that lack of, for a month, the lack of me filling my bucket with self-care, caring for myself, which is walking, stretching, strengthening, all the things that I was promised that I was going to do before that I did for Miami, created this freedom in my mind I stopped doing when I got home. I stopped filling my bucket. So in doing so, I'm also, with the lack of self-care, I started neglecting my family. Because now I'm going to lay on my back for a while. The dogs can't go out for a walk. They're not going out to play. Amy now has to do everything in the house because I can hardly move. So because I stopped focusing on self-care, I now lost my momentum to create this love that I have in giving back to my family. I stopped filling my bucket. What a message. What a powerful, deeply seated message that I needed to have. And I want you to hear that if you're not filling your own bucket, what do you have to give to your family and your kids? When you are not filling your bucket, your bucket's empty. You got nothing in your bucket to hand to anybody. So I didn't. And now I'm flat on my back. Now Amy has to take care of everybody by herself and have to take care of me because here I am laying on my back. The next thing, in release. So that was the message. So in that releasing, so here's what I did. So in that releasing, this is a process that I love. And don't tell anybody, but this is my secret sauce. And as you go in and you look at the energy that is stuck in, because everything's energy, that pain is energy. There's a message in there. There's wisdom in our physical pain. There's wisdom in our emotional pain. We just have to go in and find it. And we have to tap in and understand, what is it trying to tell me? And then when we gain that wisdom, we get a massive, massive shift. Massive. And it's in that shift that true change starts happening. Because I'll tell you right now, as soon as I am 100% healed, I am back to working out all the time. And I will never stop until I am 6 feet underground. Okay? Massive shift. Massive message. All right, heard. So here's what I did. So I focused on the energy and I looked at the energy. So I go inward. I'm laying flat on my back. Amy's on her way home. I'm laying flat on my back. I did this whole thank you, raising my vibration. You have to do that first. You're not going to get the message. You have to do that first. Raise your vibration. I simply said thank you over and over and over again. And then I went in and I'm like, okay, let's work at this energy. So I go in and I see it. And it's about the size of a plate, a dinner plate. And it's red. And it's like pulsing red. And then it's got like this dark red around it. And all I do is go in there and I visualize pulling that out, getting that out and getting it in front of me and going, okay, what are you trying to tell me? And the whole message just unraveled just within a split second. I'm like, oh yeah, I stopped doing self-care. Now look at what's happening. Now my dogs are missing out. My family's missing out because now here I am laying on my back. Okay. I go ahead and get rid of that. I don't do the whole full circle thing. And that shouldn't matter to you right now, but it's breathing in new energy. I just wanted to heal it. So I brought some cool energy in, and it was just heal. Then the next step, this is the third step. So the second one is to release any emotional blockage or any emotional energy and get a message. And I got the message, and I heard the message, and I made a mental note. And then what I did from there is now it's heal. I brought in some cool light because it was red, hot, and throbbing. And I brought in some cool light. And then after that, it was heal, heal, heal. Now, here's what happened. Did I just all of a sudden jump out of bed and get going? No, because remember, the body is its lowest vibrational frequency. This is why it appears to be solid. And the body is not solid. It's still energy, but it's such a low vibrational frequency. And I don't mean low like on the pole. It's physical form, but it's a low vibrating frequency, or slow. Let's say it's slow. It's so slow that it appears solid, where a higher frequency is your thought. And that's higher frequency, faster vibration. It's your thought. Okay, that's fast. I can think quickly. I can change my thoughts fast. But physical takes a long time to change. So I sit in that. So I'm setting heal, and I'm trusting this process. Amy comes home. It's this, same old conversation. What are we doing? What do you need? How are we going to do this? How long is this going to take? It's Wednesday morning. What's happening? And I'm like, can you stay home from work? Is it scary? And I'm like, what if I got to go pee? I need some help. I can't get up by myself. I can't move. I can't move hardly anything. So I lay in bed. 24 hours later, it's now Thursday. I'm doing the same process. Right? I'm doing the same process. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to look at it. Now I see the energy, and it's about the size of maybe like a dessert plate, and it's like black, but it's not as hot anymore. So I'm like, okay, let's release that. No message. We're just working through that energy. I raise my vibration, and I'm just working through that energy. Release, release, release. And I bring in some healing and some love. I put my hand on my back, and I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to work through this together. This is what we're doing. By Thursday afternoon, I could get up on my own. I was walking completely crooked because that muscle shortens up, and it's tight, shortens up. And so it pulls my hip up on the right side. So I look like I'm about 89 years old, and I'm kind of twisted. So my pelvis is tilted up and twisted, basically counterclockwise, like back to like 10 o'clock. So it's a pretty funky walk. And I'm like, okay. And Amy's like, oh my God. She sees me get up, she's like, oh my God, look at you. Whatever. I hadn't eaten anything. I think I peed once, and it takes me about a half an hour to get to the bathroom because I have to walk way, way slow. Amy's helping me. Of course, I haven't eaten, so I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded and I can't hit the ground, and I got to move oh so calculated and oh so careful. So we get back in bed, and I do the same thing. I'm looking at the ceiling. I go through the same routine. Now, the next day, now it's Thursday afternoon, I'm like, oh, I can get up on my own. It's getting better. And Amy's like, okay, and she's got to trust me, right? Because sometimes this lasts a week where I'm in that position. And that's tough, where she's working a full-time job, right? And we need somebody to be here, the dogs, it's kind of a big deal to manage. So anyway, and then the next day I can get up even better. And now I'm going to walk a little bit. I'm just going to walk real gently up and down the hallway and just kind of work those muscles and get them loose. Because if you ever lay in bed a long time, muscles can get really tight. Now other muscles are starting to get tight because there's no movement happening. So I'm doing a little bit of walking, better, 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 better. Saturday afternoon, I'm like, it's okay. It's good. I'm feeling good. Like I can sit, I can stand. I got to be careful. I'm not going for any runs, but I'm still doing the same thing. Here's my process again. First, raise your vibration. First, raise your vibration. You can't heal. You can't heal unless you're up above where that injury came from, whatever injury or emotional pain, normal physical pain, whatever. You can rise above it. I promise you. I promise you. Listen to the message. Step 2, release it. Go in there, look at it, ask if there's a message. What do I need to hear? If you're not hearing a message, you need to go back to raising your vibration. You'll hear a message if you raise your vibration. And I just simply said, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to lay here. Thank you for this opportunity to take a break from my life for a minute. Yeah, I'm sick. Yeah, I have the flu. Yeah, I'm hurt. Yeah, I've got this pain. Yeah, I had this surgery. Thank you for this opportunity to take a pause in my life and recollect. There's some gratitude in there. There's a message in there for you. Go and get the message, internalize it, heal. Heal, heal, heal. I just said it over and over again, just repeating it over and over again, giving myself love. You can't hate your way to healing, you guys. You can't. You can't hate your way to healing. And now it is Sunday evening. It is Sunday evening, and I'm feeling amazing. Now, I'm not going for any runs. I'm still working the process because remember, the physical body takes a little bit of time. I'm still working the process, but I'm getting there. And I'm going to get back to working out. I'm going to get back to filling my bucket. This whole message, this whole situation has come full circle for me. And I have a lot of respect for my higher self giving me this message. That I don't feel bad. I don't feel angry. I had to cancel a couple of things. I had to cancel a couple of coaching calls. I had to cancel, a meeting that I had. I had to cancel a few things. It's okay. Because you know what? Your life matters. And when you tap into your introspection, into your intuition, and you start getting the messages, dude, your life is about to soar. I'm just a messenger on this planet, and I'm going through difficult times just like you are. I just know some things. And I'm just sharing that message with you. I hope that this finds you in a place that you can hear what I'm telling you. And here's the thing. If you are dealing with physical or emotional pain, what do you got to lose? Because bitching about it isn't changing anything, is it? Complaining about it, it's not changing anything. I know you want to. You can give yourself a couple minutes to kind of move that energy along. And it is vital that if you want to change, going inward is the journey. Going inside, tapping into your energy, your intuition, your higher self, God, if you will, gaining that understanding and deepening that connection. I hope this finds you well, and I hope you can hear this message, and I hope you start working on it. And if you need some support, you let me know. I got your back. You send me a message, you send me an email, themeditationroomtc@gmail.com. Say, hey, you know what, Jen, I want to work with you, or I want to get some more, or I want your support, and let's have a conversation. And let's see how best I can support you. In the meantime, go heal your body. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment as to how this has inspired you. If you're interested in learning about our Lady Leaders Retreat and to join a community of women who connect, heal, and create a life that is full of joy, inspiration, and empowerment, then send me an email at themeditationroomtc@gmail.com. Subject line, let's talk. And I will set up a time for us to have a conversation. And in the meantime, keep going, growing, and transforming, and keep looking for those nuggets of inspiration.